Welcome back to if you're a coin collector, history lover, or just curious about what those old coins in your drawer are worth, you're in the right place. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the Canada 1-cent coin from 1981. Could this little copper coin be worth more than a cent? Let's find out. The Canadian 1-cent coin from 1981 might look small and simple, but it carries a big piece of Canadian history. This coin was part of a long-running maple leaf penny series that began in 1937 and ran until the penny was officially discontinued in Canada in 2012. The 1981 penny features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Arnold McKim. Her portrait was used from 1965 until 1989. On the reverse, we see the iconic two maple leaves on one twig, a symbol of Canada, designed by G.E. Kruger Gray, 1981. The Canadian penny was made of 98% copper, 0.5% tin, and 1.5% zinc. It weighed 2.8 grams and had a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. These are heavy compared to later pennies, which were made thinner or of cheaper materials like zinc-plated steel in the 1990s. Now here's where it gets interesting. Over 1.2 billion 1-cent coins were minted in 1981. That makes it one of the most heavily produced years for the penny in Canadian history. These were minted in both the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa and the Winnipeg Mint, although only the Winnipeg coins were marked with a small W during select years. Not in 1981, though, so, while it's not rare, there are always special things collectors look for. Collectors often hunt for errors or die varieties that can make a common coin valuable. 4 1981 pennies. Keep an eye out for * double die errors ** on the date or lettering. * off-center strikes * or blank planchet coins. Some coins may show weak strikes or extra metal, die cracks. These kinds of errors, if authenticated by a grading company, can boost a coin's value significantly. Let's talk about money. What is your 1981 Canadian penny worth in circulated condition in very good, VG, to fine, F, condition? It usually fetches 1 to 3 cents, slightly over face value, and extremely fine, EF, condition. It might be worth around 5 to 10 cents. About uncirculated, AU, ** coins can go for 15 to 25 cents. A coin in uncirculated or mint state, MS, 60 or higher, could be worth 50 cents to over $1, especially if it's been graded by companies like ICCS or PCGS. Here are some tips if you're collecting or selling. Always handle coins by the edges to avoid fingerprint damage. Store them in acid-free holders or coin flips. Consider getting high-grade coins professionally graded. Join Canadian coin forums or Facebook groups to learn and connect with collectors. Is the 1981 Canada 1-cent coin worth keeping? If it's in poor condition, maybe not. But if you have a shiny uncirculated coin, or spot a rare error, it could be a great addition to your collection or even fetch a higher price down the road. To understand the value of the 1981 Canadian penny, we need to look at its historical background. The Canadian 1-cent coin has been part of the nation's currency since 1858, when Canada was still a British colony. Over time, the design and composition evolved, reflecting Canada's growing independence and national identity. Why 1937, Canada adopted the maple leaf twig design created by British artist G.E. Kruger Gray, and it quickly became a symbol of Canadian pride. This design continued for decades, including on the 1981 version. In 1981, Canada was experiencing rapid inflation, and the cost of minting pennies was rising. Despite this, the Royal Canadian Mint produced over 1.2 billion 1-cent coins to meet demand, as the penny was still essential for everyday transactions. Most Canadians used pennies daily, for candy, bus fares, and change at local stores. That same year, Queen Elizabeth II was still the reigning monarch, and her familiar portrait appeared on the obverse side of the coin, a youthful image by Arnold McKim, which had been in use since 1965. The 1981 penny marks the end of an era when the coin still held some practical buying power. A time when you could still buy small items for just a few cents. It wouldn't be until 2012 that Canada officially stopped producing the penny, citing cost inefficiency and environmental reasons. So, in many ways, the 1981 penny is a snapshot of Canadian life in the early 1980s, affordable goods, copper coinage, and a world still deeply connected to cash. The 1996 Canada 1-cent coin. How much is it worth in circulated condition? Are there any rare varieties to look out for? Let's find out. The Canada 1-cent coin from 1996 is part of the long-running Maple Leaf penny series, a design that has become iconic in Canadian coinage. On the obverse, we see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Dora de Pedery Hunt. This particular design was used from 1990 to 2003 and is easily recognized by its elegant and simple profile of the Queen. In a reverse, we have the traditional maple leaf twig design created by George Kruger Gray. This symbol has graced Canadian pennies since 1937 and represents Canada's rich natural beauty and national pride. The year 1996 is stamped below the maple leaves. These coins were minted by the Royal Canadian Mint and are composed of 98% copper, 0.5% tin, and 1.5% zinc, with a standard weight of 2.5 grams and a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. 1996, the Royal Canadian Mint produced a staggering number of these coins, over 673 million to be exact. With such a large mintage, the 1996 penny is quite common and can still be found in old change jars, piggy banks, and coin collections across Canada. While Canada officially stopped producing 1-cent coins in 2012, and they were gradually removed from circulation in 2013, the 1996 penny remains a nostalgic item for many Canadians and collectors around the world. So, let's talk about value. If you have a 1996 Canada 1-cent coin in circulated condition, its current value is typically around 1 to 3 Canadian cents. In the coin collecting market, it holds face value only, mainly because of the high mintage and the fact that most examples are heavily circulated. If your coin is in very good VG condition, meaning it has visible wear but the main details are still clear, it's still only worth about 1 cent. Even in extremely fine EF condition, the value doesn't go much higher. But if you find a coin in uncirculated or mint state condition, you might fetch 10 to 25 cents from a collector, depending on the buyer. You might be wondering, are there any rare varieties or valuable errors from 1996? Well, no major rare errors have been officially catalogued for this year. But coin collectors always keep an eye out for minor die errors, such as off-center strikes * die cracks or CUD's double die obverse or reverse *. If you happen to find a 1996 penny with one of these errors, the value could rise to a few dollars, maybe even $10 or more, depending on the severity and rarity of the error. These coins can occasionally pop up in online auctions, but be sure to verify authenticity with a coin grading service if you suspect you have a rare find. Although the 1996 Canadian penny isn't worth a fortune, it does carry historical and sentimental value, especially as part of a complete penny collection from 1920 to 2012. It represents a time when pennies were still part of daily life in Canada. Some collectors aim to collect 1 penny from each year, and 1996 is an essential part of that timeline. If you find a 1996 Canada 1-cent coin, should you keep it? Well, if it's in circulated condition, it's more of a fun collectible than an investment. But if it's in mint state or has an error, you may want to hold on to it or even have it graded by a professional service. These coins are slowly disappearing from everyday life, so even a common year like 1996 might gain more historical value over time. The 1996 Canada 1-cent coin is part of the long legacy of Canadian pennies that traces back over a century. While the coin itself may seem small and ordinary, it holds a place in the rich history of Canada's monetary system. The first Canadian 1-cent coin was issued in 1858 under Queen Victoria. It was large and made of bronze, measuring over 25 millimeters. The penny design went through multiple changes over time, especially during the reigns of different monarchs, from Queen Victoria to King Edward VII, King George V, King George VI, and finally, Queen Elizabeth II. The maple leaf design, which is featured on the 1996 coin, was first introduced in 1937. It was created by George Kruger Gray, a renowned British coin designer. The obverse of the 1996 coin features the third portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which was used from 1990 to 2003. This design was created by Dora de Pettery Hunt, making it historically significant as the first portrait of the Queen on Canadian coins designed by a Canadian artist. The 1996 penny was struck using a copper-plated zinc alloy, containing 98% copper, along with small amounts of tin and zinc ***, weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 mm. A total of 673,512,000 coins were minted in 1996, making it a common year for circulation. In the 1990s, Canada was already evaluating the economic viability of keeping the penny in circulation. The cost of production for each 1-cent coin was slowly climbing toward more than its face value. Despite this, the penny continued to be used widely until its official discontinuation in 2012 and removal from circulation in 2013. The 1996 coin came near the end of an era, with many Canadians later reflecting on these coins as part of their daily lives and childhood memories. While it isn't a rare year, 1996 stands in the later period of the Canadian penny's life. It's an important piece of the final generation of regularly circulating 1-cent coins, and it's commonly collected as part of full-date penny collections from 1920 to 2012. Its connection to Canadian identity, history, and Queen Elizabeth II's long reign makes it more than just spare change. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic, the Canada 1-cent coin from 1982. You might have a few of these lying around your coin jar or loose change, but do you know how much they're actually worth, especially in circulated condition? Stick around because we're breaking down the history, details, and the current market value of this iconic penny. The 1982 Canadian penny is part of a long line of 1-cent coins that Canada produced for over a century before discontinuing the penny in 2012. This coin features the classic Queen Elizabeth II portrait on the obverse, designed by Arnold Machin, and on the reverse, we see the famous maple leaf twig designed by G.E. Kruger Gray. It's a simple yet beloved piece of Canadian history. But what really makes the 1982 penny interesting is its place in the timeline and its condition when found in circulation. Let's first talk about the composition. In 1982, the penny was still primarily made of copper, about 98% copper, with the remainder being zinc and tin. This makes it heavier and more durable compared to the later steel-based pennies that started appearing in the early 1990s. So, what is the value of a 1982 Canadian penny when it's found in circulated condition? Well, for the most part, these coins are quite common. Millions were minted, so in everyday circulation, their value is usually close to face value, meaning just 1 cent. Circulated pennies generally show wear, scratches, discoloration, and smoothing of details. Collectors usually look for coins in better condition, graded as uncirculated or mint state, to have higher value. However, even circulated 1982 pennies can be worth more than face value if they have some rare characteristics. For example, there are varieties or errors that collectors seek out, such as double dies or die cracks, but those are pretty rare for this year. For your average circulated 1982 penny, the value ranges typically between 1 cent to 5 cents, depending on condition. If it's very worn, it might only be worth face value. But if it's in decent circulated condition with clear details, some buyers might pay a little more. Now, if you happen to have one in uncirculated or near mint condition, say from a coin roll or a collector's set, the value jumps significantly. Uncirculated 1982 pennies can fetch anywhere from 25 cents to a few dollars depending on the grading. Recent sales on auction sites and coin shops show that circulated 1982 pennies usually sell for about 2 to 10 cents each in bulk, but a pristine specimen can bring in a premium. So, should you start hunting for 1982 pennies in your change? It's definitely worth a quick look, especially if you like Canadian coins or want to build a collection. And remember, while most circulated pennies are common and not worth a fortune, certain errors and exceptional conditions can surprise you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin content, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Also, comment below if you've ever found a rare penny or a cool coin in your change. I'd love to hear your stories.